FIFA has deducted South Africa the 3 points, and this is how the group looks. But I believe despite the points deduction on paper, and I stress on this, on paper, South Africa still remain the favorites to qualify top of this group. Let me just explain. Benin are now top of the group, but they have 2 more games which they must win at all costs. And those 2 games, one is against Rwanda, and Rwanda is also in course to qualify to the World Cup. Rwanda also need to win their 2 games at all costs. So that game between Benin and Rwanda is like a final. Then their other game is against Nigeria, and Nigeria also possibly could be in pole position to qualify to the World Cup at that point. That means it could also be a final. For Rwanda, they have 1 game against Benin. That is their next game against Benin. As I mentioned earlier, it's either one of them wins or the other loses, or it's a draw. If it's a draw, both teams will possibly lose the advantage they have. So most likely they'll both be pushing to win the match. And if Rwanda is not winning that game, that could be the end of their road. Even if they win, their next game is then against South Africa, which will be played in South Africa. So very difficult 2 games for them, Rwanda team. Then the next competitor is Nigeria, and Nigeria are already 3 points behind South Africa. So it's not like they are level on points, already 3 points behind. And the next game for Nigeria is with Lesotho. After Lesotho, then they have to play Benin, who are also competing for a spot at the World Cup. So it will not be an easy game for, that is, Nigeria also in that game with Benin. And finally, you have the game for South Africa, where they have to play next with Zimbabwe, who are already eliminated in the group. Then finally, they play with Rwanda, who are also competing for a slot to play at the World Cup. But it's possible that by the time they play Rwanda, if Rwanda do not win their game with Benin, by the time they play Rwanda will already be out. So it could essentially mean they could, that is, if Rwanda don't win against Benin, they could be playing 2 teams who are already out of contention for the World Cup. Then also not to forget that the 2 remaining games for South Africa will all be played in South Africa. So all the other teams will be traveling. Benin don't have an approved home stadium, so they'll play all their home games, all the 2 games away from home. Nigeria will play 1 at home and 1 game away. Rwanda, same thing, will play 1 at home and then 1 away. But then for South Africa, their 2 games will all be played at home, if their fans supporting them for a push to the World Cup. But this is just an assessment on paper, And as always, as we've seen, football is not played on paper. We always see surprises. We always see results we do not expect. So all 4 teams are equally running for the World Cup slots. But in my assessment, it looks like the favorites in this race now could be South Africa.